Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got Onside Gaming's MARU in the top left of the map going up against Dragon Kaiser Gaming's Dark. It's Babylon to start, a very good map for MARU, and he's going to be going for just a barracks gas on the high ground. Very standard opening. Maybe it's finally time to throw away the low ground 2 Rex Reaper build. Who knows? I'm pretty sure MARU, he was doing it a lot, but it's Beyond, who's probably never willing to put that build down. Now, this is the quarterfinals of the Afreeca Champions Cup that was just played over this past weekend, and it's only a best of 3 quarterfinals because they did squeeze all the quarters, the semis, and the finals into the final day. They did 2 group stages a day before that each day, so it's a very packed weekend of games over on Afreeca. It wasn't on Twitch or YouTube as it was sponsored by that streaming platform, so I know it went under some people's radar, but Afreeca's been really cool for actually sponsoring a lot of StarCraft 2 tournaments and events like this. It was a $15,000 prize pool, so nothing to scoff at. And you've got guys like Cyril and whatnot in the other side of the bracket as well. So it is the cream of the crop. Now, Dark so far, you can notice he's mineral focused. He's just rallying the extra workers onto the gas, so he's not rushing onto that. On the other side, MARU has pulled off gas, which tells us MARU is going Reaper into 3rd command center. Woo! So he's going to build a 2nd depot. And then I think he'll build, I guess, a marine or 2? Or does he go reactor? He doesn't quite have enough gas for that reactor. Really interesting build order from MARU. He scouts, sees its hatchery first, and he just kind of goes back. His own command center does go down at a decent time. He's starting to put back on gas here steadily. I guess you could play 3 racks here instead of 3rd command center, couldn't you? Interesting. 6 Zerglings on the way for Dark. He starts an Overlord there as well. So it's 2 Queens, 6 Zerglings, and Overlord. Drone sneaks out to the right just before the Reaper arrives. MARU's going to come in for that Reaper tax. And indeed, the 3rd command center does go down behind this. MARU will probably play 3 Rex behind this. This is a build order which can be quite hit or miss for MARU. It's a great economy start, but it's very vulnerable. If Dark realizes what's happening, he can just like potentially kill you with a Bane Bust. There's a few other ways he could get you. Oh, that Reaper almost got surrounded. MARU goes back for seconds. Got to be careful, mate. Now, interestingly, Dark just double injected. What? Dark did not put creep down. He just went 2 injects. That's super peculiar. That's very, very unusual. Ling speed does start. Reaper does back off there. He's completely pulled off gas for now. Guess he's just happy to delay his creep. I'm always a bit afraid. If they don't spread creep early, I'm like, what are you up to, man? Yeah, you got a normal timed 3rd, but what are you using that lava? Are you going to try and flood Lings? Like, what's happening? Behind this, 2nd and 3rd barracks coming up. MARU is fully back on that single gas. He's got the 2nd orbital up and dropping those mules non-stop. You can see he's dropping the mules spread across his natural on these close patches so that he doesn't mine any individual patch out too quickly. Mules can mine on top of SCVs, but they can't mine on top of each other. So you can have 1 mule, 1 SCV mining on a patch at a time. 6 more drones coming out. Looks like, yeah, Dark is just droning hard. So his whole strategy here, he's back on gas now. He's like, okay, I'm just going to drone really hard. His queen production is slightly delayed, I would say, but only slightly. And he's just really saying, let's spend that lava. Let's like pump out drones like a mad dog. His vision on the other side of the map is rather bare. Reaper keeps trying to jump in the main. Lings are always there to stop it. And the Overlord's going to try to sacrifice through, which should be able to see what's going on. Even if you just see the massive Marines and get killed before the 3rd command center gets spotted, that in itself usually lets you recognize what's happening. But if he gets the Overlord to about here, he sees that. Let's see how quickly MARU responds. MARU sees the Overlord, and he's trying to hide his Marine count. I guess the Overlord knows the barracks is on the reactor. That in itself doesn't tell you that much. This doesn't reveal that it's a 3 Rex, because he could easily have this many Marines out of a single barracks with a reactor. Dark might suspect, though. He very well may suspect. All right, Evo Chamber in the natural. We've got Overlords building 3 at a time, 2 Queens building. Going up to 7 Queens. It's interesting that it's a single Evo Chamber. That, to me, tells me that Dark knows exactly what's happening. He wants to get a quick carapace to counter the Marines. Did he see them move out, though? Dark is famously lazy on his scouting. He didn't leave a Zergling at the front, did he? He hasn't seen the Marines coming. Dark, I mean, he's pulling back his Overlords, which is good. Ooh, luckily for him, MARU's not committing in. Stopping at 55 workers, starting Carapace, second Evo chamber starts, and mass Zergling production on the way. Maru's up on 45 workers, though. You can't be sitting on this worker count for too long as Dark. He doesn't have a lair or a Baneling nest on the way. He's only on a single gas. No, hold that. Sorry, second gas is up, and he's going to take the fourth base up the top. I love this fourth. I think it's nice because the Terran has to go very far out of their way to get to it. And as long as you take this fifth soon after, you can always kind of give one up and go for the backstab as needed. Massling Queen is a bit dicey against a ball of Marines because you need to get a full surround or the Zerglings just get gunned down way too quickly. The Lings are all being pulled to the front. 50 Lings versus 21 Marines on the front line. That's interesting. Every single Marine is here. The Lings are going to commit. That's a crazy attack for Dark, but he gets such a good surround that it definitely pays off. That was a actually really, really good choice to just commit in there. And an even trade, I think that's, well, maybe not that good actually. Yeah, maybe that wasn't really the fight he wanted because he didn't come in from two sides or anything. The start of the fight was pretty bad. An even trade is usually good versus Terran, but not in this game where he's gone 3 command center. He's the one who's ahead on economy. Maru, okay, follow-up damage though might be real. The SCVs try to fight. Those SCVs try to pull back. Oh god, you don't want to lose these SCVs, Maru. The Marines trying to fight in that mineral line. They're going to have to evacuate though. Okay, the follow-up damage making it all worth it. 6 SCVs, a depot. Now the previous trade pays off, and that's where things can spiral. That explosive Zerg production. Dark is still massing Lings. He built a handful of drones, but he's still only on 58, and he's saying, no, just mass units, let's go. He's already got 2 macro hatcheries, but no lair. Dark's... Oh, sorry, that is finished. That's a lair that's finished. Oh, I was like, how can you not have a lair started? I was like, you're actually at a pretty good spot, but if you don't have the lair started, you're screwed in the long term. Turns out I was wrong. Just my eyes deceiving me. And already having 2 macro hatcheries and a 5th base on the way, Dark's production is about to go from good to great. And this is not what you want to let Dark do, because Dark is very weak in the mid game. Let's be real. Even though he's got great micro, his early game's so, dodgy usually. It's not that refined that he is weak to mid game pushes. That's why Maru likes to take the fight to him. That's why he committed to that Marine attack like he did. That's 6 drones. Well done. All right, 6 drones there. It does fight back for the 6 SCV losses earlier. Similar worker counts on both sides. And keep in mind, we've got +2 attack on the way for Maru, but +2 carapace even faster. Dark has been all over that. Dark is hunting down the drops. Trades a few Zerglings to force Maru home. Slow Baneling's going to waddle into these Marines and get gunned down. Nice defense for Maru. I don't even know if he noticed him walking in. A move does the trick. No +2 armor. It's just 5 barracks, a factory, and a starport. We've got 3 tanks, 30 Marines, and of course, a very ill intent. He wants to punish Dark right now. The natural, those Lings probably could have pushed in if they tried to force the issue, but he ends up backing off, doesn't really get any kills. 4th base is going down. Dark, a very mature decision to just give that up. He's going to try and maybe look at defending. He's trying to distract, but I don't think he can do it. He's going to go for the fight. He will at least get rid of the siege tank and be able to respread creep, which is important, right? Clearing those pushes up so they don't maintain the territory does make a big difference. 4 bases still mining on 78 workers. Infestation pit's almost finished. That's a very quick hive that can be starting for Dark. On the other hand, Maru's 4th command center, 2nd factory started up. He's gearing up for the late game as the hive starts. So both players are going late game tech. Feels to me like Maru needs to get more damage done because he's still got a good number of Marines out. The problem is he's only got 3 siege tanks, and 2 of those are stationed at home. That one in the top, I mean, it's cute that he's got this position. He can deny the 5th base. Does he need more than that? That I'm not quite sure about. Building 5 depots right now. The last depots Maru will need in this game. Beautiful trade. Gets a lot of creep. A few Zerglings as well. Picks up. And he shoves in the bottom at the same time. Dark F2ing his whole army around using that select all army key. Those medevacs are not on top of the Marines though. Little sloppy from Maru. You always want to make sure the medevacs are sitting on top of the Marines so they can instantly pick up. One of those medevacs wasn't, so he does lose 8 Marines. Still well worth it to snipe the 4th base. Maru is in the lead right now. He is smashing. Oh, and he denies the 5th in the top. Back to 3 base. Dark is in the doo-doo. What's he going to do from here? Mass Lings, Mass Banes, and hope to find a really good engagement. That's all he can do. Siege tank does go down. Would have liked to see a quick unsiege and evacuation there for Maru, but it is what it is. He's got a 2nd Tech Lab factory, so he's going mass siege tank bio. And you might think, well, that's not really good versus Ling Bane, is it? Well, tanks are always decent versus the Banelings. They're not amazing versus the Zerglings, but on a small map like this, the real thing is that your tanks can just reach so far, and that's what's so big. Maru's moving out. He's got to run these SCVs right now. Maru with a slightly slow response. Those Banelings are going to find the mineral line if he's not careful. But the Banelings just blow up on the tank. depots and tank all get repaired. MARU immediately queues them back. Efficient trades for MARU as his +3 attack starts up. He's also got a Ghost Academy on the way. He's making vehicle weapon upgrades. He's going to 8 barracks. He'll get the tech labs for the Marauders. He's still got safety tanks chilling at home. This is a great position to be in for MARU. On the other hand, Dark does not have enough gas. He's on 1, 2, 3, 4. He's only on 4 gases. He starts +3 melee. Carapace is arguably the much more important upgrade, but he goes for melee. He's got 2 Vipers and Adrenal Glands on the way. He tries to jump on this army, but Dark is outnumbered right now. If he loses this base again, he might just be screwed. That being said, there's no Widow Mines. Oh, the bio at the front gets surrounded. MARU a little slow on that. He runs forward to try and punish Dark. Doesn't lose as much as I thought he was going to. And Dark has to give up yet another base. Ling Bane comes in. Does deny that 4th base being taken. At least he's keeping MARU on 3 base while he gets a new 4th up in the top right. But losing so much mining time is a terrible issue. As a Zerg player, being on 3 base versus 3 base mining for large portions of this game it's a problem, man. Triple Macro Hatch at least keeping his production up. Losing those extra bases, it would have been a death sentence if he didn't have the Dark Macro Hatcheries. But Dark is always preparing for a messier game than other Zergs are because he finds himself there almost every single time. Ling's a little slow to react there, but hey, Queen Parasitic Bomb takes out the double drop. Dark is going to try and rebuild those workers there, getting back up into the 70s of workers versus Terran, who's in the 80s. Ghosts are coming in. Extra command centers do need to go down for MARU to finish that late game transition. His ghosts actually are already coming out when the Ultra Caverns just started. Marines clear up some creep before getting cleaned. And a big army moving around the north as well. Dark's map control lacking. He's got good creep in the north. This army's going to try and ruin that. I love that tank on the high ground. Would have liked it a little further to the right, but that's good enough. He's got 2 tanks there. He's going to spread his bio here and then just send a bit of bio ahead. No medevacs with that bio, though. You got to be careful. Oh, he's going to get a bunch of Marine Marauders surrounded by the Zerglings. Decent engagement for Dark on the right side, but on the left, definitely those tanks on the high ground punishing him. 2 more command centers coming up out front. He's going to build a 3rd factory as well. That's going to be with the reactor. Now, you might be wondering, oh, look at that. He catches MARU a bit clumped up. Dark dives on it. He's going to get rid of this position. Having an endless swarm of Zerglings does have its advantages. Problem, his income sucked this whole time, so he can't afford these trades. He's down 4,000 resources in the units lost. Normally not a bad thing in a Zerg versus Terran, but on a cramped map like Babylon, where the Terran has been out-mining you for large portions of this game, that's an issue. Now, the 4th base is fully established. Sensor tower's going down. We're going to have an extra, probably double orbital, but maybe MARU floats one of these out to make a planetary. Lots of units pumping out, getting close to maxed is MARU. Up in army supply, up in worker supply for large portions of this game. Dark needs to pull out some tricky plays. Lingbane on the south. He's got some Lingbane Viper in the north as well. Only 18 Banelings. He's mostly mass Zergling right now, which tells you how fragile his position is. Because remember, if they're on even supply, it's usually kind of hard for the Zerg. And that's when they have like 60, 70 Banelings. When you're on like 15, 20 Banelings, you don't have that super supply efficient unit that can just roll over into the bio and kill them and get rid of them. So the mass Zergling is good when you've got overwhelming numbers, but right now, similar army supply, not so good. And look at that quick cancel for Dark. I do love that play. Very admirable. If he was rich, I'd say he needs a Spire to start building a few Corruptors to get rid of the drops or, you know, something like that. Maybe a couple of Hydras. For now, though, he's got to rely just on the Parasitic Bombs. He does the double Parasitic Bomb. And that will put them both deep in the red, down to 30 hit points as the bees wear off. 24 hit points, actually. That's interesting. Wait. They were both on full hit points, guys. Parasitic Bomb does 120 damage, doesn't it? Whoa. Wait. Does Medevac armor affect Parasitic Bomb damage? I'm so confused right now. You guys let me know in the chat. I didn't think that was supposed to be the case. In the comments in the chat, if anyone wants to look that up, let me know. I really thought that was spell damage and it's not meant to be affected by armor, but I may have been wrong. So it looks like, I mean, it should be 7 ticks. No, it's 6 ticks of 20 damage, which means each of those 20 damage points became 19, which is why those medevacs survived on 24 hit points each. That is bizarre. I don't know if that's intended and if it's meant to be that way. So that's definitely something I'll revisit after this game and go, guys, do we know that this is working this way? I don't think it's meant to. Dropper Lords are over there behind the 3rd base. We've got Burrow, Anabolic Synthesis on the way. Dark's doing a good job of hanging on and getting a big army. The problem is that MARU is just a better endgame player. Now, MARU's not in the endgame yet, guys. He doesn't have +3 vehicle weapons. +2's just now finishing. He does have Blue Flame, but once he gets +3 Blue Flame Hellbats, that's where they one-shot Zerglings, and he just has Hellbats spread everywhere, mixed in with the tanks. Hellbats kill the Zerglings, tanks kill everything else. Right now, though, you can see Maru's spread kind of thin. He's trying to control the middle and the bottom at the same time. Oh, he's got a good tank spready. Dark's going to have to try to catch him out of position. The bottom is defended by a mobile Bio Ghost Force, whereas the middle and the top is defended mostly by siege tanks. Drop in the top looks like it did get defended. We've got a mass Faker Lord drop, guys. He's sending... Is that meant to be a fake drop? Or maybe he was meant to load it up on the front line, but it's been spotted by the medevac, so Maru's going to sacrifice that medevac. Dark is not killing it for now, though. Building armor's on the way. +3 vehicle weapons is coming in. Bio starting to posture forward. There's a Widow Mine there and a turret. You gotta be careful. Parasitic Bomb goes down. He tries to throw another one. Dark's gonna lose a Viper for that. Oh, it barely survives. Blinding Cloud's okay. Ling Bane tries to roll into those units, gets rid of the tanks, but definitely a good micro by MARU. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! He gets jumped in the middle at the same time. The distraction means he's not watching. His Bio Ghost gets rolled into by the Ling Bane. Ling's on the top, but the Ghosts do start a step back on that side, and a few Marauders survived on the south as well. Dark does at least clear up the middle of the map, though. It was important to really reduce the map control of MARU, because MARU was getting way too much control. +1 range is on the way, but of course, vehicle armor, +1, high-sec auto tracking. Trying to get that high-sec auto tracking going. It's going to give +1 range to planetaries, take it from 6 to 7. It'll also improve the turret range from, I believe, 7 to 8, if memory serves. Yeah, 7 to 8. Ooh, drop in the top goes in. A couple of those bio units picking up, moving around. Still nothing that shoots up other than Queens and Vipers. Vipers are heading back to the north. Handful of Zerglings will monitor it for now. Maru's going to try and secure the bottom base, but I think he's going to need to move his tanks kind of forward and control this area. And this is one of the widest open areas on the map. So this is where Terran starts to struggle, because if you can threaten the top or dive in here with, say, Mass Lane, kill these tanks, clear that out, Terran has to divert resources there. And when he diverts the resources there, this southern base is so far apart. Banelings get a decent roll in, get a few SCVs, a tank, a couple of Hellbats, maybe one Ghost went down as well. Look at that units lost tab. 6 Ghosts have died this game. Units lost tab still in favor of MARU, but not massively so. And oh, he gets by the double drop. 4 hit points on one, 15 hit points on the other. Ooh, Marauder comes in as well. Ling Bane coming forward, trying to roll in, overwhelming those siege tanks as best they can. Trying to get in. This is like that angle we were talking about. MARU did not have any Hellbats or Bio here. Nothing to deal with the Zerglings. Tanks on their own cannot deal with that sort of army. There's 14 SCVs, a whole big line of depots, which while he doesn't need it for supply right now, he might later on his command center start to die. And it was a wall off that goes down. So what's he got there now? A few Liberators, and his factory is burning. He will start repairing that. Needs to rebuild that tech lab as well. Sensor tower, and he does go for another tech lab. Turrets in the main do deflect the drop attempt up there. Dark's got a Nidus Worm. He's got +2 range on the way. Dark's doing a good job of creating some chaos here. He has a bigger bank right now. Let's check Maru's orbital count. Maru's only on 4 orbitals. This has been a recent change in Maru's play in the last 6 months, and for me, it's a little confusing. He used to always have max, like 10 orbitals by now, maybe 8. Now he's only ever got 5. And he's been doing it in TvT as well, where it's like he's not as greedy. For some reason, he's afraid of being greedy and building too many orbitals and dying. He's always instead focusing on more planetaries and securing more bases, but it means his income's not as big the longer the game goes. Oh, you cannot attack here. He gets rid of the command center, which is kind of cute. He's actually gonna get on top of the tanks there as well. Gets rid of a tank. Make it 2, make it 3. Nope, Hellbats one-shotting them, causing problems. The reacted factory almost loses its reactor. That will burn down if he's not watching. Lingbane Viper dancing on the front. Nice parasitic bombs, popping a few medevacs. Still only 5,000 resources behind is Dark. Dark's going to try and do a runner through the back of the main to get a Nidus Worm inside the booty. And he does manage to pop that one up there. You've got worms, Maru! Maru's going to need to get some of that horse dewormer, man. That's a serious infection you're dealing with. The Marine Marauder's not on top of it. Careful, mate. Oh, okay. We'll be taking that out. Yeah, no chance to really unload any serious army, but there's an Overseer in the back. He's got to deal with that, otherwise that's going to keep coming in. Liberator harassing the north coming in right now. Yeah, I really feel like Maru used to always have so many orbitals, right? But he just doesn't build the Iron Bank these days. It's like a weird change in Maru, and I also feel like Maru's been a little bit more mortal. Not every tournament, he still destroys a lot of the time, but every now and then It's uncharacteristic the ways he loses some of his games in the last 6 months since that World Championship loss. Anyways, Lingbane Viper comes forward. I might just be reading to the tea leaves here. That is a lot of Lingbane from Dark. He's going to get rid of the command center. The Ghosts maybe ran a little bit too far away, leaving the SCVs in the command center to go down, and they didn't get a lot of snipes to punish. That was a fantastic trade for Dark. Now, obviously, Units Lost says it was bad, but if on his next wave he can break this whole position before this planetary's up, then he'll be good. He's popping a Unitas Worm in the back door. This is what I said. You need to send a Viking or a Ghost or something to deal with that. There's a tank sieging in the main. That is not covering the natural. Maru's trying to push the south. He thinks the way to do this is to be aggressive. But look, his production tab's kind of empty, and he's not maxed right now. He needs to queue up a lot more units. He's got 8 barracks, 3 factories. He's got to be mixing in Hellbats and Widow Mines, or at least one of those units. The Lingbane Viper's coming in. Ducks on some of the Vipers into the Hydras is nice. The Baneling's a little bit far behind. He does force the lift, but the Nidus Worm is defended behind this, and I don't really feel too great about that attack. Delaying the command center morphing into a planetary is nice, but it is in of itself not going to be that good. You're on a timer as Dark, and yeah, you're mining out one of the middle bases, but so is he right now. Unless you're mining this base out already, that would put a lot of pressure on your opponent, right? Maru would really be feeling it. If there's 20 workers up here mining, he'd be like, oh god, I got to stop that right now. Dark instead, he's going to rotate to the natural, but the sensor towers see it a mile away. Maru is so prepared, and Dark, I feel like, is running into a wall right now. He's building infestors, so that tells you Dark's feeling a little desperate, but I actually think he has enough resources to keep going for a while. He's just got to make sure he keeps taking gases. His gas count's very low. Lingbane Hydra rolling in. Does take out the Liberator in a siege tank. He's going to force the lift there again. Gets maybe 1 or 2 SCVs, but he doesn't want to stay too long and lose the rest of his army. BioGhost going to try to punish in the south. He does take the hatchery up here. I do love him smashing that angle. Maru's not leaving defenses there. He thinks Dark's going to swap back to attacking the south, but Dark's doing a very good job of attacking both sides at once, and now Maru's lost the rocks. He's lost the sensor tower. He's trying to build a new one. But look at this. Dark's just going to go in. Another 10 SCVs for the slaughter. And that could be huge. He's got to get in there and get rid of that sensor tower. Scan on the bottom, though. Dark pulls back defensively. He's thinking about trying to kill the army right now. That's what Dark really wants to do. He wants to catch the army, but he loses the hatchery. He's attacking Lings way in front of everything else. Terrible fight for Dark. Great fight for Maru. Gets a hatchery. Gets Dark to kind of A-move into it. Throw away some Zerglings. Look at this. Missile turrets are going to deny those infestors from coming forwards. Very smart move. This infestor in the middle, though, could catch the rotation. Alright, Zerglings do go down there. But there's actually a few Zerglings in the mineral line. Maru missing those. Very odd for him to miss that attention to detail. Normally he's very good about that stuff. Lings are trying to jump on the tanks. I mean, it's always going after the tanks, it feels like, with this heavy Ling style. But every time those +3 Hellbats get a shot off, the Zerglings get toasted, man. Blinding Clouds do go down. Infestors coming in from the south. Hydra Banelings here as well. There's only part of the Terran army up here. A lot of the armies in the south. The command center's in trouble. Guys, look, there's like 5-6 tanks spread down the bottom of the map. Not on the north. Remember, Maru does not have mass orbital. He cannot drop 15 mules to recover his economy. He's only got 5 orbitals. So, and he's even got a tank pinned in the main. That's the work of the Nidus Worms earlier. That's 3 supply that Maru's forgotten about. He's also got, like, what, 4 or 5 tanks spread down here. I think he's just going to give up on that base to some extent and just kind of have some tanks here, it looks like. Repairing these command centers is definitely a good idea, though. You do not have the orbitals. You can't afford to lose them. +3 vehicle armor is almost there. +3 range for the Hydras is also almost there. Looks like these infestors are mostly unburrowed at this point. But now that the infestors have been revealed, I don't know if this is going to work out. Maru denies the base. Dark tries to go around and go for the rally point. Ling's quick to get on top. No Hellbats stationed here. No Hellbats could be a big issue. One Hellbat waddles up to try to help out. EMP lands on those 2 infestors. Lings are getting in. Baneling's trying to crash through. It's a sloppy, scrappy fight on both sides. It looks like he does get through on the SCVs, and some of the command centers go down. A command center there. Another command center is about to go down. But, oh man, this fight is an overcommitment for Dark. I think he's going to lose all of his infestors and Hydras. Gets a bunch of SCVs, kills some stuff. He's still down 9,000 resources in the units lost, but he's denying the gas on that base, which might be impactful later on. The base in the bottom is still mining healthily. Oh, this is it, though. He got the whole army diverted to the north. Dark's going to lose the top base and all the drones on it, but he takes out the tanks on the bottom. If he can take out this base as well, no, he taps out. Maru was super broke there, but I think he realized how much he screwed up. Let me just show you guys those last few seconds again. So the problem here is because he didn't even evacuate these drones, what's he got? He's got that base mining, a few minerals there. Everything else is mostly gone. He's actually got a few minerals here, But it's very little mining, and he knows there's 2 relatively fresh bases down here, or at least that's what he feels. This base is actually mostly mined out. Maru's pretty poor, but this was his army that was meant to punish and kill this planetary. There's still 3 tanks and a planetary. He can't kill anything. His planetary's everywhere. He's going to lose his base, and he doesn't feel he has enough units in production to move up and stop himself losing the next bases either. So fair enough. That was a very fair time to GG. Well played by Maru. All right, guys. Maru, nice game 1 victory there. I really... It's so weird how he plays that lower command center style, but it definitely felt like his presence on the map was just so domineering that entire game. And really well done by Maru. He goes for the double Rex Reaper opening to follow it up. This build order will never die, apparently. And that spawning pool goes down a minute 14 behind the mineral line. Going to stop any Reaper rotations behind there. Notice Dark's looking for proxy barracks on the edges. So technically, double Proxy Rex there would have gone mostly unscouted until very late by this Overlord. Double Proxy Rex there as well would have. Crazy enough, could have gone Proxy Rex here and here. And it wouldn't have been scouted, but you'd need to be pretty confident that Dark's going to follow that exact Overlord pattern. Otherwise, that's an insanely dangerous route. Two Reapers building at a time right now. So with this build order, for anyone who's not been watching StarCraft in the last few months, Maru will plan to open up with 3 Reapers. His command center gets delayed by about 40 seconds in total, but you get to put more pressure on. Zerg is forced to shore up the defenses early, often delaying their 3rd base. Dark does often forget to send his drone out to take his 3rd base, and I think, yep, he's forgotten to send his drone out, guys. Dark, what are we doing, mate? He's pulled off gas and started Ling Speed, so I guess he's just planning to take a later 3rd. Oh, he's planning the Ling Speed build. I guess also he might be predicting this build, so he went for the quicker Ling Speed. Last game he went for a faster 3rd hatchery, so a slight deviation from Dark will put him in a bit of an easier position to defend. Good movement with the Lings to defend that weak drone. Queen's now out, and he does go for the double inject once again, trying to just make sure he can fill these bases up with drones. He's also building 2 Queens, and we'll start pumping out Overlords now as he is supply blocked on 36. Uh-oh, Queen goes off creep, takes a bit of damage unnecessarily, but notice he targeted the weak Reaper, as those combat drugs only kick in after they've been out of combat for like 7 seconds or something like that. So you want to keep hitting the weak Reaper to delay it starting healing. They just got a drone. Nice focus fire by Maru. Goes back in, seeing if he can get some more kills. Only 24 drones for Dark right now. So Maru's getting ahead on the work account. Maru's already also started the 3rd command center. This is Maru's favorite follow-up to this build. I used to criticize him for being too predictable with always doing it. But he actually started mixing in a lot of weird 3-Rex Reaper variations and quicker double drops and stuff. So I do think Maru's random enough that Dark won't be able to predict this. Oh, Maru is not beyond though. And these Reapers, let's see if they can get out of here with some more damage. Nice Evo chamber block. Ooh, I like that. I like that. There's no escape now. They're going to get a few of these Lings, but nothing like what we see Beyond often get. Oh, the Queens are even going to get that last one. Wow. Shuts down the Reapers finally. Doesn't lose too much inject time, as long as this Queen walks back soon enough. Dropping a lot of creep at the front of the natural. This Queen's going to move back and inject the main base as she can. And more Overlords are pumping. The 3rd base was heavily delayed, though, for Dark. So I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a 2nd gas, puts back on this gas, and maybe tries to go, like, double upgrades while securing the 3rd base. Lings, think about going after Stim. I think you could sacrifice the Lings to target that. You're going to lose a bunch of them, but it's only 400 hit points, and if you cancel Stim, it really weakens the follow-up for Maru. Doesn't look like something Dark's willing to sacrifice, because he's like, dude, too dangerous. 3 more Marines could pop out at any moment, and once there's 7 Marines, that's almost, and actually that is enough to one-shot Zergling. 7 times 6 is 42. Zergling only has 35 hit points, and once you're one-shotting Zerglings, I mean, it's just going to be way too bad for you. Maru, the way he's pushing out here, he's trying to pretend as if this is maybe a 4X. And he's like, look, I'm pushing out with a big mass of Marines. So he wants to prompt Dark into stopping droning and pumping out a bunch of Ling Bane. But Dark's being very greedy, which is the correct call. He's gone Lair, Baneling Nest, 2nd and 3rd gas. His 3rd hatchery is about to finish. He's up 10 workers, which is solid. And now seeing the Hellions, he realizes, okay, good call, good call. Because there is no way there's a big mass Marine push. Not if he's got Hellions out, it means he's teched up. Liberator comes out as well. He's going to swap over. So it's going to be 4 Hellions into medevac production. Tanks and the 3rd command center moving down. 3rd gas, double engineering bay on the way as well. Nice clean up there of the creep. Double Evo Chamber goes down 5 minutes 40. It's going to be a pretty big upgrade advantage for MARU. But as long as Dark keeps his creep spreading, gets a 4th base up at a decent time, I think he's going to be in a good control position with Baneling speed coming up so early. Liberator not unsieging, takes a few hits there, but look at that, very minimal lost mining time. I don't like this spawning pool placement because it makes it awkward to move your queens and spore around, but oh, MARU flies straight back in. He's got to go home and repair now. You can see he's going to send that back to the 3rd base to repair. And he's going for a 4th and 5th barracks right now. Hellions are still cleaning up the creep a little bit. I find it interesting we haven't seen more Ravens mixed into standard Terran follow-ups in the current meta. With the last balance patch making the Raven much cheaper and faster to build. I mean, obviously, medevacs, you need them early to really sync up with the Marine firepower. But especially with, like, Hellion builds, I really thought we'd see, like, maybe 25, 30% of games, Terrans going for Raven. Whereas it's kind of closer to 10%, maybe even less than that. I feel like it was actually more popular before the Raven buff. Liberator's going to slowly hunt down an Overlord before going to get repaired. It's very, very low damage against air units that aren't clumped up kind of flyers. Spire's on the way for Dark. Dark's going to play old school Mutiling Bane, which is very cool. Problem is MARU likes to shove up the guts with Marine Tank. And as good as Mutas are versus Siege Tank styles, if he just gets a really nice setup down here and forces a fight before your Mutalisks are in that good of a position, it can get really nasty for you. Ooh, Baneling speed's there. Seeing that Baneling speed, MARU respects it, backs off. He knows going for that 4th base would be a problem because he can't fit everyone inside the medevac. He can fit most of them, actually. All but one Hellion would be able to squeeze in. More Marine Tank coming forward. I do love the 4th in the north for Dark. I think so many players go 4th base here, 5th base here, present them easily for a Terran push to kill both in one swoop. Instead, MARU pushes forward on the normal push path. He finds no hatchery there, and he's like, oh, okay, damn. And this buys a lot of time for Dark to get ready. Dark's seen the army. He's building 10 Mutalisks. He's Gotling Bane massing. He's already going up to 12 Banelings, 60 Zerglings. And MARU is taking a long time to get the push sorted. Now he has to do this push from much further back. Liberator does try to go in the natural. Queens are going to be able to deal with that, though. Might lose a queen, but that's not too bad. Liberator will go down. Oh, he focus fires. Does take out 2 drones. But only 1 drone there. Sorry, he killed 1 drone earlier, didn't he? Or 1 Overlord, in fact, is what it was. 2-2 starts up here for MARU. He's lost his upgrade lead. Dark's now got +2 melee started. He does need to start Carapace. It's the more important of the upgrades. But look at this. This is very scary. Basically, this push probably decides this game. And Dark's going to go for it. The tanks are very close to creep. The Lings get on top. The Banelings roll right past. Ooh, good spreadies for MARU, but the numbers don't lie. And Mutiling Bane, if it can get a fight like that, it wins the game instantly. Pushing with tanks can be very powerful. Maybe if he forced the fight a minute earlier, but he pushed the wrong angle despite spotting his hatchery up the top. MARU probably assumed he was expanding to both bases at once. Dark, with the surprise Mutiling Bane player, gets it out. Nice. All right, tying up the series here. Dark hanging on, man. It's not often you see these guys playing a best-of-3 quarterfinals in a $15,000 tournament. But the entire series is decided here, and who goes to the semis? So it's a really big challenge for both of them. MARU, in that last game, I think the opening just didn't go quite as well as it could have. This time he's going back to a Reaper expand. He's not even scouting. So he's like, you know what? Let's just get a smoother start. I think I can take Dark on. I do wonder, though, about the Siege Tank style. I really feel like play Biomine would be really good for MARU against Dark. I think Biomine, he's very good at it. Whenever he's up against the wall with Solar, he pulls out the Biomine. As good as those tank pushes can be, even if you go for them, I really like when someone opens up double tank push and then they go straight into Widowmine. So it's just 2 tanks for the first push into Widowmine production. But if you keep building tanks, that Mutalisk style may come out again. And that is a very, very nice style for overrunning you because there's no picking up and running home. Often you can be like, okay, I'll just pick up everything, maybe leave a tank or 2 to die and go home. MARU was heavily committed to that push in the last game, did not pay off. Let's see what he can get this time around. 6 Lings on the way for Dark, as well as once again a very quick Ling speed. Dark does not know that it's a single barracks Reaper opening. I guess he does now because he hasn't seen another Reaper come out. So you can assume it's a 1-Rex expand. Dark's going to probably be droning here and going for 4 queens. He's actually got a lot of idle lava while he micros. There we go. 3 more drones do queue up. Good play there. Gets a single kill. And the Reaper can deny the third base going down for a little bit. Notice, though, Dark's usually pretty fluid. If the Reaper's on the right, drone goes left. If the Reaper's on the left, drone goes right. Oh, he actually got it stuck on the wall for a second there, but it'll get down just barely in time. Third command center goes up on the high ground. MARU going back to basics here. Real clean opening. Now that starport placement is making me think it could be a battle cruiser. Maybe a Raven opening? Obviously, Banshee is still perfectly fine. He's very much trying to hide the scouting, though. Make sure it's a little harder for Dark to figure out exactly what he did. Oh, okay. Oh, Ling's going after that Marine. Ling's going after the Marine. Marine does go down. SCV gets targeted. SCVs. Oh, careful. You don't want to lose too much here, man. Nice little run by attempt. Reaper focus fires on the Reddit point. Zerglings, of course he does. It's MARU. Gets 2 Zerglings on the way out. Makes that a relatively even trade. Third hatchery is on the way. Super quick lair. Dark is... That's usually a Nidus Worm lair timing. It could be like fast Mutalisks or something like that. That's a very fast lair. Now, obviously, he can use that... Oh, it's because he saw a tech lab back there, I think. By running with the Lings, he saw a tech lab back there. Oh, almost gets the SCV. Not quite. Loses those 2 Lings. So I think he's thinking, okay, I need to scout. Because this is either Cloaked Banshee, in which case Overseer is good. Or it's Battlecruiser, in which case I want to go for Aspire to shut that down with Corruptors. So I actually think this is just a good reactive lair for Dark. On the other hand, it's very expensive to go lair that early. He also sacrificed some Lings, so his Queen count's only at 4. Queen count's kind of dodgy. Hellions and the Reaper could maybe even fight that Queen, since there's only 1 with Transfuse. This Overlord's ready to morph into an Overseer to scout. He's trying to send a Zergling in, seeing what info he can get. It is just Banshees, we know that. And Dark cannot find that. He may have seen the bubbles on the tech lab, but I wouldn't be surprised to see an Overseer. No, he's actually just going to go. All right. It is actually the Nidus Worm, guys. He's going to go Queenling Nidus. Super committed attack off just 45 drones. Just gonna be mass Queens, Lings, Nidus Worm popping in your main base. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. Banshees are not good against this because you morph an Overseer on the front. That plus Queens shuts the Banshees down. Technically, you can do some very good mass repair micro on the Banshees where you like pull them back, mass repair them, go in. If you're fighting only 3 Queens at a time, something like that, the Banshee can get mass repaired and outdo that damage output. Uh-oh. Lings getting in. Banshees are here, though. Lings can't fight back against the Banshees. They're going to take out the 2 SCVs at the third. Luring MARU's attention away. There's no way he's going to realize what's happening. Oh, he's even got a bunch of Marines in the main base, but he doesn't know about the Nidus Worm that's about to pop. Overseer's morphing right now. It's just all about the Hellions and Banshees. Units which are so good versus Zerglings, but they suck against Queens. Those Queens need to be dropping some creep really fast. The Lings go after the Marines. If you can get rid of those early Marines, that'd be great. That's why he loaded the Lings into the Nidus first. Queens second, because he was looking to catch some units out of position. And Nidus Worm tries to go up at the ramp as well, kind of seeing if he can get creep out there. If he can get creep out there as well, it'll allow his Queens to move forward much faster. He needs to get rid of these add-ons on these barracks. Lings at the front trying to siege on that side as well. Refinery does go down. This barracks is taking damage, as is the command center in the main. Remember, it is just Lings and Queens. The Lings suck against Hellions. And even though Stim's not done, the Marines do okay versus them as well. You really need to get a siege tank on the low ground or down here protected. As long as you can get a tank out, it'll slowly deal with the Queens, and you can deal with everything else. Banshees will defend the third base. It's taken a lot of damage, though. The tank is out. He's got to defend that siege tank. Nice. He's got the repair position. Does MARU. MARU's trying to stabilize. You've got to keep repairing that. The Marines and the Hellions are taking a lot of damage, though. You kind of want to pull back from these Queens and let the tank do its damage. The Banshees are going to try and help out as well. He's got to pull more SCVs up. He's got to keep this position. He's got to keep the Banshee alive. One of the Banshees is deep in the red. The other one's going to go down. It does fall. He's going to try and hold on for now. Okay, this is really scary. Those SCVs need to repair the Banshee if they can. There's still a Nidus Worm in the back. 19 SCVs have gone down. A lot of damage. A Roach Horn is building and more Zerglings. Dark has not thought about droning. He's just building more Queens right now. He has been injecting a little bit as those Queens pop out before just loading them into the Nidus and then unloading them on the front. So he's kind of doing combat macro. It's like, you guys inject and then go to the front. Inject, go to the front with each Queen that pops out. Does contaminate the factory, but actually he doesn't have any gas. He can't make another tank anyway. So Dark is so worried about a second siege tank getting out, but because he took out the gas mining, there is no ability to build extra siege tanks. MARU should have canceled combat shields and made a siege tank instead of that Hellion, but the contaminate, a genius addition for Dark. Now, Dark, I really feel, should drone up from here. I don't think you're going to get the win once there's a tank out, especially since you assume there's going to be a second tank soon. That he feels like, you know what, if I just make Ravages, you don't have time to get production up. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. If you get Ravages, you buy all the tanks. Queens beat everything else here with just mass transfuse. You can try and stim forward all you want, my man. Maru's going to try and overwhelm this, but there's still army being reinforced. He was not counting on this. He thought Dark was droning behind this. He now finds out that Dark is not droning as Roach Ling comes in, and Maru realizes he made a big misstep thinking he could get him out of his main base. Dark is a crazy man. He was still committed inside this base. Okay, the tank is siege, but guess what? There's Ravages morphing. 3 Ravages to bile him down. Lings do force SCVs off the third yet again. Maru on 1 base mining versus 3 bases. The Marines are here. He's got to save the siege tank. He picks it up and dodges. Nice plays here by Maru, moving the tank to the low ground, but his production is in trouble. He's only got 1 medevac out. Second medevac does pop right now. The Marines are going to stim, try and take out these queens off creep. They get 1, they get 2, they get 3. Oh, great play by Maru, but he's got to get away from these Roaches and Ravages, and even that tank on the low ground's in trouble. Dark waddling forward. He says Roach speed is for losers and tryhards. I don't need Roach speed. I got corrosive bile and I got creep in your main base, D-bag. Maru is in trouble, and Dark takes him out with a cheesy build order. He figures, you know what, I think Maru's going to play greedy. He scouts that tech lab and immediately reacts. Beautiful, beautiful response by him. I think it was about 3:30. The Ling gets up that ramp. He sees what's going on. And look at this from Dark's vision, guys. So check this out. He sees a tech lab. He looks up there. He does a bit more micro. And he goes, you know what? I know exactly what this is. There's no depot started on the natural yet. The Hellions are late, which tells me it's a 3 command center build. And I'm going to make a lair, make more queens, and immediately he makes up his mind about going for the all-in. He also was heavily supply blocked because he's Dark, and he just forgot to build overlords. So doing an all-in softens the impact of the supply block, because missing all those drones that could have been produced was really bad. So I'm not sure. It might have partially been informed by the fact that Dark was like, oh god, I messed up my macro. Quick, let's do an all-in. And seeing the tech lab as well, adding to that, beautiful play. Takes out Maru, goes to the semifinals. GG, well played.